Hey everyone, back again. Hopefully you checked out that first video. Lots of stuff that we went over. The second video, we're going to focus on the grid warp of the text and stuff to kind of do that little tweaky, weird, twitchy thing. And we're going to do that grunge layer trick, you know, that little thing that we were talking about in the first video.
Jumping back in, let's just take a little look. So we need to grab this forest and stuff. Let's go ahead and grab that. We're just going to get down and dirty into this right away. Looking for good tracking markers and stuff. I like this obvious thing on the tree. Now let's just do that. So mark in and mark out right there. We're going to go pretty easy with that. Let's go ahead and right click, new fusion clip. Let's name this Halloween scene 2. Or shot 2, whatever you want to do. And we're just going to drag that onto our timelines, keep things nice and neat and orderly. Right click and do open in Fusion page. And let's comp this guy on in. So the first thing we need to do is introduce a tracker. Let's go and do Shift Spacebar and type in tracker. You know, we need to basically have 2 points here. So we need to track the foreground element coming towards us, and we need something in the background to give us that Z depth illusion for things. So I'm going to grab this, and we're going to have tracker number 1 go right on that red dot. And then we're going to add another tracker, and we're going to have him, whoops, we don't want that. We're going to have him back here in the background here. Let's see if we can just grab that white right there, and we'll see how it tracks in. So both of these, track them on in. That one's dancing all over the place. That wasn't good. So that was tracker 1. Why is it dancing all over the place? Maybe it just needs to be a different thing. So let's go ahead and delete tracker 1. Let's add that again. Let's grab, how about this dark contrast right there, just to see how that does. We'll track this on in. Still jumping around. Okay, so let's see our tracking data. So which one is this? This is tracker 3, so let's turn off tracker 2. Okay, let's see what we got here. So we basically just need a nice smooth move. That's a pretty smooth move going on there. So these elements here, we're just going to go ahead and select these guys and delete them and see how that's looking. That section's looking good. This section's dancing around. So this section in here, we are going to select those and delete those keyframes. Just smooth that on out. We got another bump right here, I believe. Yeah, another bump right there. So let's just grab those two, delete those on out. That smooths out our move pretty good. That one in the back actually held way better than the one in front. One in front's got like an obvious tracking marker, and it couldn't even hold that. That's unfortunate. Okay, there we go. So let's jump back on into there. I meant to just turn off the spline. Let's go ahead and bring our text. So I'm going to actually cheat with the text. Let's go back to our first shot. Grab this text, copy it. So back to our previous scene, we're going to jump to our new scene. We're going to paste in our text. We want him to actually be in the tracker, so we can do this. So let's type in starring Rick. Oh, I wonder who that is. How about just Steves? You should look up Rick Steves. He's actually quite funny. He's like this little old dude that goes traveling around. It's pretty funny. There we go. We're not seeing that because in the tracker we need to go operation match move. There we go. Now we have him. Let's right click and do character level styling. We're going to select that, press 1. We're going to select our top line and go to modifiers, decrease the size. So we just have starring. We're going to go back to the tools, which is just the full thing, and adjust our line spacing. And there we go. There we have it. Let's go ahead and pop a DVE. Sorry, a transform on him. Let's just center him up a little bit better. So we'll just grab that, move him into the middle of the shot. There we go. Next thing we need is a loader. All right, we got our element. Let's go ahead and press 1 and kind of view him. We're going to move him so he's down below the text. And then we're going to go to our merge and choose overlay. Comp him on in. We need to get some color correction on him to kind of blend him on into the scene a little bit better. So here's our greenish. Let's just bring his saturation down, bring the contrast up, bring the lift down a little bit, bring this brightness up. Bring the gamma up. Let's bring that brightness back down. There we go. Okay, I like that. Then let's go ahead and copy him, paste him over here, comp him over the text. Let's go ahead and do an overlay. Okay, so let's get a little bit of a contrast here. So this guy is just going to be holding solid throughout the shot. But this guy, we want him to actually be moving forward with our shot. So instead of tracking him in and stuff and all that, I want it a different speed than the actual footage. So we're going to do size and go to the end here and just increase his size a little bit. There we go. So this track is just going totally wacko. So let's go ahead and jump on this tracker, kind of clean that up a bit. Let's delete that. Delete that. There we go. After cleaning that up, then we got it going a little bit smoother and stuff. There we go. Okay, so this comping looks pretty terrible. Let's see if we can kind of dial this in a little bit better. Okay, so dialing this in, this is why I came across for the color correction on this one. Kind of dialed that in a little bit better, and then the color correction on this other one is actually kind of tamed down quite a bit. And for our transform, I actually let's go ahead and put like a little bit of an angle on there and just kind of have it tweaking a little bit better than the other one angle. And then we're gonna pop on that flip also, just to kind of get it to just separate a little bit better. Then, since we have the same exact background, we need to change it up a bit. So we're going to change that up by flipping it. And then the color correction on there is really not a whole lot. This color correction is just kind of making it brighter and stuff. And then our text is being transformed on in. So now let's do this. We're going to pop on a grid warp. Let's go ahead and kind of increase the grid on here just so we can get a little bit more detail. Kind of lining things up. So like, you know, these lines are kind of going with those lines are going with these lines, the top and bottom of the text and stuff, so we can kind of tweak things a bit. So we're just going to go ahead and scrub along and make sure you got your grid selected. Let's go ahead and right click on this and choose animate. And then just kind of create a little keyframe right there. Bring it on down a couple keyframes, tweak him on out, and have him kind of shift back into place. So we're just kind of eyeballing the shifts and stuff. There we go. So that's the first tweak. The next one, we'll just kind of do that. And then have him just kind of tweak on out. And then slowly come back in. There we go. Grab that point. And have him do like a super tweak. And then tweak on in hard. There we go. And then, you know, that'll be fine. Maybe at the end, we'll just kind of do this little dink and dink. And we'll kind of do a dink and a dink. There we go. Okay.
You can support me today by listening to my music via the links below.
Become a sponsor today. Message me via the Facebook link below to find out more. So this tutorial is kind of focusing on kind of just tweaking images just for like an effect and stuff with the grid warp. Grid warp is actually used a lot in beauty work. Some stuff that I've done before is just kind of like, you know, extracting eyes, like, you know, giving better lines to eyes and lips and stuff. I'll do another tutorial that kind of goes over that beauty work workflow. And that would actually be kind of cool. So stay tuned for that one. That one will be a lot of fun. But this is what we got going on so far for this guy. So the trick to doing this this grunge layer trick, we have this guy just parked. It's just not moving. We have a camera being tracked in. The text is given that third dimension, you know, translation effect. And then this one is not being actually tracked in. This is kind of the icing on the cake. It needs to be at a different rate than your footage to give that true 3D-ish kind of a look. So we have that by adjusting the angle on it and then just bringing up the size at a different rate. So we obviously had to bring the size up bigger because once you adjust the angle, you introduce these areas that are not actually being covered by that overlay. And we just moved on down the timeline and expanded that. So it was going at a different rate because I was actually just eyeballing it. So it's pretty much guaranteed to go at a different rate, isn't it? So that's kind of the trick to doing that grunge layer trick. We're going to call it officially, but you know what it actually comes from. The next video, we're going to dive into the dev look, development look, just kind of the final look of the whole of these two shots. We're going to do some simple regrain, just kind of talking about that workflow and that idea of things. And then the fun stuff, once you get it all done, it's all about putting the eye candy onto it, creating the transitions, and those are the things that are going to just sell this. You know, just having it just like cuts and just these effects, you know, it looks pretty bland right now. Like this is pretty bland. It's got a good comp into there. All these layers to me still look like it's all these different individual layers. Nothing is married together. So the eye candy and the dev look is going to really sell all that. Check it out. Next Wednesday, I'm going to release part 3 of this tutorial. Every Wednesday, new toots.